present, and the meeting has been posted in a timely manner as required by law. All members of the school board are present, and thank you everyone for your We'll move on to invocation. Item 2.
Heavenly Father, as we gather for this meeting, unite our hearts and minds in common purpose. Grant us the wisdom to work together effectively and the humility to value each other's perspective. Guide our discussions and decisions that they may honor you and serve our shared goals. In the Lord's name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. We'll move on to item 4, student recognition.
Good evening, Board President, members of the Board of Trustees, and staff and community. We have Mr. Adam Martinez, our Assistant Superintendent, with the student recognitions for this month.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, and Dr. Spoor. It is my pleasure to be with you here this evening as we are recognizing our students for the first time in this 25-26 school year. Each student has been selected by their campus principals here this month for the month of August. This distinguished honor, which is endorsed by the superintendent and the board of trustees, is a symbol of our highest respect and admiration. The accomplishments set a standard of excellence and serve as an inspiration for their peers and the entire Pearsall ISD community. So at this time, I would like to invite Ted Flores Elementary Principal, Ms. Cordelia Gonzales, to be able to recognize her Student of the Month for August of 2025.
Good evening, board. So tonight we are recognizing one of our students. She is the embodiment of the students that we seek to raise up in leadership. She is a wonderful student, and she graces us with her smile every day and her good deeds every day, and she was recognized on our campus for being the Student of the Month. So I'd like to introduce Ms. Sofia Ramon.
And we'll get everybody also, so don't leave yet.
Next up, we'll have Pearsall Intermediate Principal, Ms. Gina Baker.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This Student of the Month for Pearsall Intermediate has exhibited an all-around achievement for everyone on campus. He has eagerness towards learning, shows great effort to improve his academic ability in all areas. He is self-disciplined, and in addition to regular school academics, he also participates in extracurricular activities such as UIL. So we would like to recognize Evan Carrion.
Next, we will have Pearsall Junior High School Principal, Mrs. Tiffany Talamantes.
Good evening, board. For PJH Stogies, our Student of the Month is Ms. Prina Bhakta. Prina is the PJH Student of the Month as she is very respectful and goes above and beyond her classroom expectations. She is very respectful to her teachers and peers and shows Dogie pride each day and every day.
And last but not least, we'll have Pearsall High School Principal, Mrs. Melissa.
Rojas. Christian is the embodiment of what it is to be a maverick. He excels both in school and on the field and on the basketball court. He strives to come to school every day. He's very respectful, and I know they said they were selected by our principals, but he was also selected by our teachers. And so I'm extremely honored to present Christian Rojas as our August Student of the Month.
We'll be moving on to item 5, public comments. Do we have public comment?
We do. We have Armando Perez, and I know the other 3 directors stated they wanted to give him their minutes. I'm not sure what the policy is on that, but so it's Armando Perez, Victoriana Perez, and the other 2 directors.
So this section of the meeting is reserved for public participation. Please keep your comments civil and courteous. Please also avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. Finally, we ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own children. Any violations of these rules will cause the board president to stop the speaker's address. If a speaker is seeking the board resolution about a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district grievance process. District policy DBGA has been established for addressing employee complaints, and policy F&G is the avenue for filing parent complaints. And policy GF address community member complaints. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or in the central offices. And you signed up to have others do your minutes. I couldn't find anything that said you could or couldn't, so I'll clear that up, but I'll let you speak. How many people is it? 4, so 4 times 3 is 12?
It's 10 minutes, 9 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
So, attached for reference is the stipend descriptions for assistant band directors and kindergarten instructors. Can we begin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, board, Dr. Spoor, Mr. Martinez. I am speaking tonight on behalf of the assistant band directors and myself. I have advocated for stipend increases over the past 2 years for all of us. I feel it is long overdue for major adjustment to the stipends. I have first-hand knowledge that no significant changes happened in the past 13 years in regards to stipends. The current stipend has only increased $6 over a decade since at least 2013 when I was hired. Assistant band directors receive $6,000 for the entire year. In comparison to other UIL activities, primarily athletics, there is a major disparity. For the same amount of time, the high school football defensive and offensive coordinator received $5,000. Assistant coaches receive $4,000. Assistant band directors receive $6,000 for the entire year. Our band directors are equivalent to the defensive and offensive coordinators because they are specialists for various sections of the band. Ms. Hector is the woodwind coordinator, Mr. Zamorano is the percussion coordinator, and Ms. Montalvo is the low brass coordinator. Additionally, according to the stipend list, there are 10 coaches for high school football to oversee 87 athletes, and we have 4 directors and a color guard instructor to oversee 85. Coaches are also able to coach multiple sports and receive separate stipends for each coaching assignment. For example, a coach could assistant high school football, assistant high school basketball, and assistant high school track and receive $9,000. Band directors are not able to do this even though we are responsible for multiple competitive activities throughout the year. Assistant band directors do not get an off-season downtime. The work is year-round and responsibilities extend far beyond the standard contract hours. Again, keep in mind that assistant band directors receive only $6,000 for the entire year. The stipend description is 2 pages and consists of 49 line items, but I'll summarize the main points. Assistant band directors are responsible for assisting with summer marching band, which is 15 days outside of the regular school year. Marching competition season, morning and evening rehearsals, marching band after school sectionals, football games and 5 Saturday competitions, including an overnight trip, which usually is the area. Junior high pep rally after school sectionals, community pep parades and events, high school ATSB competitions and concerts, which include region band, area auditions, and the state band auditions. Junior high region band sectionals, auditions, and concerts. We have even been lucky to host auditions for years, which has given our students home field advantage. Solo and ensemble sectionals and competition at region and state levels. Concert, contest, sectionals, and competition. Planning and executing fundraisers and field trips. Aside from these activities, other activities that we have added in an effort to recruit and retain students include performing at the Alamo Bowl, performing with the UTSA Spirit of San Antonio band, and performing at a Spurs game. Our high school marching band has increased from 60 members last year to 85 this year. I have 2 proposals for the school board to help keep our assistant band director stipend competitive. One would be to give a flat rate increase in the stipend that would more accurately reflect the significant duties and responsibilities outside of the regular school year. The second would be to add extra days to their contracts in addition to the stipend. An extra 15 days would at least cover summer marching band specifically. I would like to point out that if we took away the stipend description from our band directors, our assistant band directors would be responsible for teaching from 8 a.m. to 4:15, and there would be essentially no real band program. The stipend outlines every single thing an assistant band director does on a day-to-day basis. If a coach decides to not coach, they still have a teaching job. Our directors cannot forego something on that stipend list. It's all tied together. I'd also like to bring up the stipend for the color guard instructor. The stipend has not changed since 2017-2018 when it was first put in place. The stipend description does not even cover the work that the previous color guard instructors have done when it comes to winter guard. Winter guard is important for our color guard students so that they are able to learn new skills all year long. There are competitions for them aside from marching contests. Winter guard is a completely new show with new themes and new music separate from our marching season. Our instructor choreographs and designs the show himself. While everything I have said has been in support of my assistant band directors and color guard instructor, I would also like to take a moment to advocate for myself. I don't receive an extra stipend. While I do have more days in the assistance due to my administrative contract, I also actively oversee and participate in every single one of these events from 6th to 12th grade, including those on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays, which are outside of the contract days. There are head band directors that receive stipends. For example, Jordanton's head band director receives a stipend of $10,000. Pleasanton's band director is on a 217 contract and receives a stipend of $12,000. I was removed as the primary teacher of record for all 5 sections of our high school classes. I am ineligible to receive the recent teacher raise that all the other teachers deservedly receive, even though I am a classroom teacher all year long. This year's district theme is We Are Pearsall. For decades, Pearsall has been known for the success of the band program. This has never changed. When Ms. Montalongo, our newest band director, was hired, she was even approached by other band directors about the successful history of the band program. The band program has always had a positive impact on our students and the community. We are Pearsall. The band is Pearsall. I'd like to thank you for your time and consideration. Please don't take this statement as an indication that we don't love our students or our jobs. We would just also love to be adequately and fairly compensated.
Thank you. Okay. Next.
Next is Reynaldo Medina.
Where is? Oh, he's in.
How's it going, guys?
Hello.
Just a reminder, you have 3 minutes. Let me know when you want to begin.
Great.
Go for it.
First of all, I want to say thank you to all our board members. Sometimes new, right? Sometimes stressful. What you say and what you do is important. I remember when I was in your seat and we passed a bond. I got threats, at the house. We're gonna burn your house down. So sometimes when you make decisions, some people don't take it lightly. And I'm sure you will assess your decisions and how you say things. But let me get to the point real quick. I do appreciate the superintendent having the SWOT analysis done, eventually published. And when I was there, I noticed that the trees that we planted were kind of dead. So maybe we could water the trees a little bit. I know there's a drought, but I believe we had bibs on all the trees. As far as I'm concerned, last time when I was here, we were talking about how to improve our grade from a C to a B. And I think you've taken the first volley by making sure all these kids actually come to school 5 days out of the week. I think that's a great idea. If you come to school, you might as well learn something. So I think that's a good way to go. Looking forward to seeing what other processes you can improve to improve our score so we can beat Billy, who has, I believe, a B. In terms of maintenance, keep it up. I know it's expensive. I know when it comes to codes, if you have to, don't tear it up because the city's going to come after you and you're going to have to spend twice as much money and try to fix things up. So be careful of what you want to repair. In terms of the community, again, I want to thank you. I want to thank the board president for keeping me informed via Facebook that you are doing this, you're doing that. See, he's so popular, he's getting a text message right now on his phone. So that's okay.
That was the timer for him, not you.
So I want to thank you again, and I would encourage all of you to go to social media and post your thoughts. It's not like you're voting, but you can, I believe, if legal standing still is clear, I believe you can still post your thoughts on what you as an individual want to do. So the community is more engaged, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
One more, Christy Watts.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, board.
Hi, you got 2
Just a reminder, you do have 3 minutes. Okay.
My name is Christine Watts, and all of last year and this year I was acting as the biology teacher, one of the biology teachers at the high school. About 2 weeks ago, I got a letter from HR stating that you were taking my salary, which was already a very low amount of $20,600, and dropping it to $16,000 a year. Now, this was a very impersonal letter that I received saying that you guys reclassified my job position, which I found a bit harsh since none of you had ever come and talked to me. You don't know what I do. You don't know what I was doing. My official title was teacher's aide, so I'm guessing you assumed I was in a classroom with teachers, which I was not. I was in the classroom. I was teaching the children. I was engaging with them, keeping them doing what they needed to do. Last year, my students achieved an 83% pass rate on the STAR. So when I received this letter, I instantly wrote back to HR saying that I did not find that an acceptable amount. I don't know how anyone can be expected to find $16,000 an acceptable annual salary for someone who is in a classroom. The only thing different between me and the teachers is I don't have a bachelor's degree. However, I am working on that, and I will have in 6 months. However, my life experience and my work experience, I think, more than makes up for that lack of a bachelor's degree. I have been in accounting and finance for the majority of my work life, and then in 2011, I got my real estate license. And I don't know if you guys are aware of what's involved in being a realtor, but you are dealing with legal consequences. It is a very difficult job. So I have done lots to show that I know what I'm doing, and I think my scores prove to everyone that I am able to keep my students learning, engaged. They're very often telling me that I'm their favorite teacher. However, I don't feel that I can continue in a role making only $16,000 a year when $20,000 was essentially too low to begin with. So I hope you would take the time to actually find out what we do, because I'm not the only teacher that I feel is in this position. I've heard there's some at the elementary school and the intermediate. We are considered teachers' aides, but we are not teachers' aides. We are acting as teachers when there's not a qualified person to be in that position. And as I said, I'm working towards my bachelor. I've already spoken with Ms. Bass, stating once I got my bachelor, I would be willing to be certified as a biology teacher, but I was not given that option at $16,000 a year. I know she tried to speak with Dr. Spoor. I don't know if that was ever happened or if that ever was resolved, but I would hope that you guys would take the time to realize that that is not an acceptable salary. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Is there any other comments? Okay. Moving on to item 5, public hearing to discuss the 25-26 district budget and tax rates.
due to account code changes in curriculum and professional development. The total increase for this group of functions is 11%. These functions are for student support services. The total increase is 9%, with the majority of that for student transportation and extracurricular. General administration increased by $70,000, which is a 6% increase. These functions are for maintenance, security, and technical services. The total increase was 21%. Security increased by 42% for security camera upgrades and other security needs. Some of the other functions included here are for community services, debt service, and shared service agreements. All functions decreased except for function 71 and 99, and 71 increased due to debt from a 24 maintenance tax agreement. Shows the sum of all functions previously presented with an overall increase of 11%. This is the 25-26 proposed budget increase percent in cost per student. The percentage is based on no student growth. The highest percentage is 59% for instructional purposes. And the first two categories listed make up 69% of the budget going directly to the student. 31% of the budget is for operating the district. This pie chart shows the same information by percentages, and again, instructional is 59%. On this screen are budget holds. These items and amounts were requested, but they were not budgeted. They are on hold as we work with the departments to create sustainable plans. The debt service proposed budget includes 3 outstanding bond series listed here. These are the 3 payments we are obligated to make in 25-26. This shows the principal and interest due through 2026 to 2032 before the 3 bond series are paid in full. This graph is the information on this graph is from the property value study from the comptroller and shows what has historically happened over the last 10 years. We can't project a steady growth due to the fluctuations that have happened. Comparison of the maintenance and operations and interest and sinking tax rate over the last 10 years. From 25 to 24, 25 and 26, the M&O and INS tax rates have not changed. proposed M&O tax rate is 0.7552, and the INS tax rate is 0.15484, with a total tax rate of 0.91004. These are the same as last year, as I just noted. However, the INS proposed tax rate may decrease when presented in September. Mr. President, this concludes the presentation for the 25-26 proposed budget and tax rate.
Thank you. Anybody like to make a motion? Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I have one question on the property value. I'm still kind of confused about what the state's going to do. You're saying that if the state changes the law, which you think they are, sorry? So you can show that graph to tell me what do you expect, what's the impact, I guess, to the school district when you're going to be forced to, are you going to raise taxes after the fact, or it's too late by then, right?
No, we're not looking to increase. If anything, we will decrease, but we've been advised to wait until at least September to determine what rate we want to go with.
So I'm still asking the question, what is the worst case that could happen to the school district in terms of the law, but probably it's going to change?
I'm going to ask Ms. Brill, who's one of our consultants working with the budget, if she can speak since she's an expert on this subject.
So the budget projections were based on worst case scenario. So we already took into account the extra homestead exemption, which will increase to $140,000 for regular household or $200,000 for over 65. We've already taken that into consideration. We moved it out of the projected values, and we went with a very conservative number to already embrace the impact of that change.
So the impact is already taken effect?
Yes, sir.
It was kind of, the way you said it, I wasn't sure you could say that. So.
It's already been taken into consideration.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Moving on to item 7, presentation 7A, presentation by Ramirez with MTS Engineers and Leroy NTR. Thank you.
Mr. Board President, we have our engineering firm, MTR Engineers, with the principal engineer Ramirez here, and Leroy Miguel, the consultant working with our facilities, to give us an update on some of the projects that we tasked them with looking into.
Hi, I'm Ramirez with MTR Engineers. Leroy's passing out our presentation in a printed format. It's exactly what we're going to show up here on the screen. We were here 2 months ago, and I know we presented part of this 2 months ago. We also got an approval to move forward with a more comprehensive study of the area in back, Max Laxton Field, and all the facilities and improvements that we're tied to. So that's what we're here to find out.
Oh, we don't have a clicker. Huh? We don't have a clicker.
Oh, okay.
Just advances?
Yes.
You got a driver.
Okay. Whoops. Wrong driver.
There we go. Okay. First, you want to go back one, Leroy?
Back?
Yes. What we're going to be doing, I'm going to be giving you, first of all, just a brief look at the background. Then we're going to move on to, the studies that we did do, what we completed, and what information that gives us, which stuff. I accessibility standards, an ADA reviewer that's registered with TDR and Austin. You know, and he came out here and he walked in and he put a report together for us on all the ADA issues that he saw out there, you know, what it would require to bring into the current code compliance, just all the way around. And the last thing we did was a geotechnical test. We had borings done out there by a geotechnical company so that could give us the composition of the soil, how expansive it is, water table, and what that tells us that if we move forward with any type of construction project, what we're going to have to do to mitigate or to design for the type of soil we have on this site, you know, to get a good life out of anything we do moving forward. So of these studies, I mean, we finished them all. The tree topographic improvement survey, the ADA assessment is complete, the geotech report is complete, and we did review the football field as well. And I brought a couple of copies of, you know, that ADA review and assessment is about 40 pages worth. That geotechnical testing assessment is about 30 pages.
That's two copies.
I just got
Pretty high tech.
take one of these home with you, and it's pretty good for that. But no, they did give us a lot of good findings, and Dr. Spoor has a couple more copies of those. So,
Oh. That's the geotech. The other one's the
first thing,
ADA.
show the exhibit. The first thing, the tree topographic improvement survey. Now this is going to show you just a whole lot of information. I have field crew come out here, and what they do is they register the equipment and they shoot all the improvements. Sidewalks, buildings, drainage, track, field, and they grid elevations, parking lots. So what this enables us to do is identify, based on elevation information, identify anything in detail with regards to slope requirements for ADA accessibility, field requirements, track requirements, building accessibility. And it shows us, you know, the limits of the improvements all the way around. And we also did, of course, a public right-of-way in the back, you know, to determine exactly what our encroachment issues were with the city of Pearsall. And having all this information tells us what we need to do to go forward and face what we need to face. Can I go back one, please? So the survey shows that the football field and track, both the football field and track, are actually competition grade. We already knew, we had a good idea that the track was competition grade. We weren't real sure about the football field, but what this showed is that the football field has an even 18-inch drop. Now, it's not what you would see normally, in that the football field is usually built level with the track. I mean, you all have been to stadiums, you know how that works. But in this case, since it was reconstructed after the fact, they raised the track and they leveled the football field 18 inches lower. So you have an even 18-inch drop all the way around. But in leveling it lower, I mean, you have a perfectly graded competition football. You know, and it's just 18 inches lower. So the only thing we would need, at this time, the only thing we would need to provide is ADA accessibility. Maybe you have the D areas. You know, when you have functions, you have graduations, you have anything there, you need to be able to get a handicapped person onto the field. And but a lot less work than what we had previously speculated. So that's good news there. Now there are drainage and ponding issues all along the west side of the stadium site. Now we already kind of knew that was going to come up because the city of Pearsall had actually let us know, even though it's on their site. They have told us there's some significant ponding problems back there that you all might want to look at. Of course, the survey, all elevations we took, kind of showed us exactly that. We provided all the elevations for a detailed ADA assessment and to determine accessibility issues throughout the stadium site. And of course, it helped us identify exactly how we need to grade the future work. determine the actual condition and whether they can be, modified or need to be replaced. That's going to take, that's a specialty. That's something you call in and get a formal assessment on. We're not structural engineers, but what we can tell you that as far as visual ADA compliance, yeah, they're lacking. So for the purpose of this assessment, we're going with worst case assumption is that the bleacher pad, we already know the bleacher pad in concrete is not doesn't have the slope requirements that it needs to have in a lot of areas, but the bleacher pads and the bleachers will need to be replaced. Now that's a worst case assumption for the purpose of this study because that's as far as we can go with it without getting professional specializes in these types of bleachers to come in and actually give us a formal assessment. Okay. The buildings providing the support, like I said, are not code compliant. Trying to patch the inside of these buildings is going to be more expensive than gutting them and redoing the inside. Now, we can keep the foundations, utility services, the shells, the roofing, but the buildings literally on the inside are going to have to be renovated. And this is all the buildings. And, you read through that 8-year report, I know it can be a little tedious, but it just identifies in detail just all of the things that are just not compliant. You put a couple of these things together and it's one thing to go in there and fix it. You put enough of these things together and
So we're talking concession stands, bathrooms, those facilities, right?
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Concession stands, bathrooms, the locker rooms, even the storage sheds. There's a lot of items in there that are not code compliant. Now, structurally, the foundations and structurally they seem to be
Pretty sound.
sturdy enough. Yes. So you're not building one from the ground up, but again, gutting it and renovating it is not a cheap deal for any type of building nowadays. And then we just talked about the concrete pathways, and the various other facility elements that are code compliant, like landings outside these buildings, door thresholds, that type of thing. So basically,
So are you recommending to do that pink one with concrete or just?
The pink that you see is a concrete drainage swell. When I looked at the grades, I can only get a minimal slope to drain from this end to that end. You know, if you try and do it just as an earthen channel, I don't see it after a while holding the slope. So
Right.
the bottom part of that would be a concrete swell.
Okay, thank you.
You know, and then we grade that into it, we grade it evenly all the way down so that you're sure of something that's gonna last and that's gonna drain.
Sure.
We would recommend, we know that the north end of the track has to get done, right? We would recommend at least doing this with that phase, or, or we can not. I mean, you all know what you've been living with, and totally up to you. But that would be our recommendation for phase one. Phase two is everything else that needs to get done. Side demolition, we're gonna demo everything in three phases. Replacing or reconstructing the bleacher pad, and the press boxes. You know, the current accessibility standards. We would address ADA issues by compliant pathways to the parking lot, to the bleachers, restroom buildings, concession stands. New accessibility management at all the building entrances. We would remodel the public use buildings, such as restrooms and concessions. We would propose to remodel the student use buildings, which are the locker rooms, they also have restrooms and storage buildings. We would provide ADA accessibility to the field, football field. But survey told us that that would be minimal work because we don't have to do anything to the football field itself. And of course, tearing everything up and putting new utility services, and then just miscellaneous drainage improvements to make sure everything's graded, not only for ADA, but to make sure that it drains. And, want to go to the next slide, Leroy? So this is a kind of a color-coded picture of what would need to be replaced. Now, on the south end of the track, there's concrete out there. That drainage swale is fine. The ADA pathway is right up against the track between the drainage concrete, and the track. But what you see in that reddish color is the concrete. Like I said, it has 50 or 60 different places where it needs to be patched. So it would be cheaper and look much better to replace. Now, this is where it is right now. This is the layout that you have right now. Mentioning that as well. I'll get to that in just a second. Those two things within the football field in the B area, those are ramps that we would propose. So that you have ADA accessibility from each side of the field, for a handicapped person to get onto the field. It would just be a ramp coming down well outside the limits of the football field. So it wouldn't get in the way. What you see in light blue, those are the extended bleachers and bleacher pads. And what you see in purple are the different buildings. There's 5 buildings on that side, and there's 2 buildings on this side. I keep getting confused as to which is the home side. Yeah, I don't know if it's just
The west side's the home side.
the west side of the home side. That's kind of busy with the press box.
Used to be on the east side. Used to be over there.
So this is the limits of what we would propose that needs to get, basically redone. The last sheet is the sticker shutter. Phase one, we're looking at a range. We did just detail the cost estimate as we could, and then we just converted it into a range. So phase one, including the drainage work,
you answered the questions I had, and I think y'all did a very thorough job, so I think it's very, appreciate your time and effort on that.
Well, I can tell you that phase two is the remainder of the work. I mean, there's a possibility of even breaking that up into two phases. You know, it's, I'll give an example. If you do the public, if you do the bleachers, well, that's public access. So say I only have to upgrade or remodel the buildings that provide for public access. If you come back and say resurface the track or resurface that field, that's student access. Now I have to remodel only the buildings that have, you know, the locker rooms. I don't know if you want to piecemeal it or not. I mean, that's always a budgetary question, but there's some options there too. You know, if you, that we could look into for you if you wanted to go down that road and see what you can do sooner than later.
I agree with Mr. Reyes as well. You know, the presentation is great. I know we weren't around when the stadium was built. I think it says 1940 or whatever. We've changed the football field maybe 2 times prior to that. Track probably a second time, or artificial and stuff. But we definitely need the ADA, being ADA compliant. And when you said about the parking lot, that one of them's fair, good. I mean, are you talking about the?
I'm talking about the parking lot in the back that has the handicap parking right adjacent, just south of that track. Okay, that's the only parking lot that we surveyed.
Okay.
It seems to have the handicap parking for, you know, for those bleachers. You know, now when I said the parking lot's in good shape and it's graded correctly. In other words, the slopes meet ADA requirements.
Right, because we utilize both sides, and you know, right now it's a hard time trying to get handicapped people, trying to settle them in with the amount of handicap spaces we have, which I know what you're referring to. You know, on the home side, it's all dirt and rocky and stuff like that. That's why I didn't know if you're referring to that one or not. But if obviously not. But
There's little things like you're gonna want to restripe it, you're gonna want to put some new signs, but those aren't cost prohibitive items to add. You know,
right. And I agree about patching it up as well. I mean, because there's a lot of space spots, especially like in the what used to be the home side, which is now the visitor site. We had a gentleman, you know, fall over last year, you know, and because of those missteps type deal situations. So we trying to prevent that kind of stuff, obviously. And so I mean, we definitely got to move on forward. But my question is also in regards to building that north wall. I know we're adding a little bit more. Are we gonna have to resubmit for bids for that one, or still?
No, it'll have to be resubmitted because it's
You're doing additional, you know, basically change of orders.
The cost estimate would probably cover it. The cost estimate he gave us.
The cost estimate is for the construction only, and you would have to put it out for formal bids.
Right, that's what I'm saying, because we have already accepted a formal bid prior.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. I'm asking that question.
A civil engineer like Ron would have to put the bid documents together and get competitive bids from various contractors to
Right.
do that kind of work.
Right.
The other thing that we talked about, I'm gonna jump in for just a second here.
Yes, sir.
Is about timing, because I know somebody's gonna ask me, when do we wanna do this?
Mhm.
So we had conversations, Dr.
Can we
Spoor.
pull the picture back up with the phase 1, just because we know that's what needs go back.
We come back to score, you know, with regards to timing, I mean, these facilities are being used. Track season is
There you
spring.
go.
Sure.
You know, we're gonna want to work back from when you finish your track season, you're gonna have to come into that track.
It's like
You know, so we would work back and we'd say, okay, we want to start construction, you know, end of March or beginning of April, because they're done with track season at that time, and we want to get the construction done, you know, before football season starts. So we would work from there, you know, set up, okay, it's gonna take us this long to sign, you know, get the plans done and completed, sign and seal the plans, put it out to bid for contract
Right.
the athletic program out there or athletic programs. And there's still some more work to do because we got to get, stakeholders involved.
Yes, sir.
Campus administration. And things.
Right,
The other
stakeholders
thing I
next
wanted
door.
to say is the scoreboard. I know there's been some talk about a scoreboard. I had an opportunity to visit with Daktronics. Daktronics is the representative for the scoreboard company. And apparently they have an agreement, they have a signed agreement that says that they can proceed with the installation of the scoreboard. However, when I contacted them, said, well, we're waiting for a go-ahead because we already got all the equipment in storage, ready to go put it in. And I told the gentleman, I said, well, let me ask you a question, sir, just because it's been brought up several times. Where are you putting it? And the answer was right there where the drainage ditch is at, that groundwater that we just talked about, in that area. I said, that's not the issue right here. And I said, let's speak about compensation. He said, when I came on compensation, we recommend against it. This is Daktronics, the people that do this with it. We would like to put it on the north side, where the existing.
Where it was before.
He says, and there's one or two reasons why, other than the groundwater and the drainage. The second reason is, there's going to be a speaker. You're going to blast the sound to the neighbors if you put it on the south. You're probably going to get some complaints. I've been there, done that, I do myself, but also see Daktronics representative. And I said, well, I didn't get speaker because he said, yeah, be a real part of the project. So that's included in the money that was and signed off, so to speak. So their recommendation is to work on basics in school so that the speakers push the sound towards school.
When you mentioned about Buckwood Water, where exactly was that portion of it? To the south? Close to the school, junior high? Okay, all right, right there in the curve. Okay. All that chaos.
And that was the concern before, was that we had a new track, and in order for them to come in, they're gonna have to go across the track, rip the track up, and it would have been destruction, and now we're gonna have to do it anyway. So it provides the perfect opportunity to remove the old scoreboard, put the new scoreboard right there in the same place. And the track is already torn up, so we can run all of the conduit, everything that needs to be run, all of the equipment comes in without damaging anything. It was already going to be torn up, so it works out well, and we can do that. So we would propose starting at the end of track season, so end of March, April, and then by the time football season rolls around, and you have the track is back in shape, everything is gone, and we have the new scoreboard there. So the scoreboard has already been, it's in play. We have to take it, but we just ask that they wait and we put it in once and do it where is the best fit. And this provides us that opportunity without an extra cost.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for the visual. Oh my gosh, violations that come into the third violation. So yeah, we need some.
Which applies not only here but to any of our buildings. The minute we wanted to do it.
Thank you, sir.
You have a question?
I have a question for Mr. San Miguel. Do you have an update on the traffic lights, sir?
Yes, I do. So, for the benefit of the rest of the board, and in June, I think the latter part of June, we met with, you were there at the meeting, Ms. Benavides, and so was Dr. Ford and myself, and the four representatives of TxDOT, engineers, project managers, and so forth, so on. And it was as a result of TxDOT being asked to put a light at Oak and Maverick. There's two, actually, you know, there's two Mavericks. I was confused.
Yes.
So I call it Maverick 1 and Maverick 2. But anyways, the main street going into the high school, so to speak. And so, you know, they go through a process. They have to be warranted with signalization. And they use a big formula that is foreign to me, but they use it for just about everything. It was warranted barely according to the engineer. And so therefore they would, they would approve it if they install it. So during that conversation, though, what we found out is that in order for them to proceed with the project, you have to have 4 lanes, 2 turning one way, 1 going across, 1 coming in, et cetera, et cetera. You only have 3. So if you're going to add that 3rd lane, what I noticed and what the engineer told us was you're going to have to move stuff out of the way.
Right.
You have a high school monument sign made out of brick and concrete. You probably have to demolish that and move it further, and that's if you own the property. I haven't checked on that. I'm assuming you own that property. And then there's the marquee. And then the marquee would have to be moved, relocated. Hopefully you can use the same pole and so forth, so on. But it's electrified. There's a meter there that I saw in, when I did the review. And then there's probably communication wires somewhere. So all of that would have to be relocated. Of course, you're going to add asphalt and curbs and so forth, so on. So that is something that the district would have to pick up in terms of the cost.
Right.
Dr. Spoor asked me this question, and I was a little reluctant to answer it because I haven't done a complete study, and I would need a civil engineer like Ron. But my estimates would be somewhere in the neighborhood between $200,000 and $400,000, because remember, you have to redo the entrances, you have to do a new, unless you don't want a monument sign there anymore, but identification for the school, and of course your marquee. So without any real detailed information.
That's additional cost to.
Additional
Yes.
on top of the
On top of the light.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so just to reemphasize a little bit of what Mrs. Benavides is saying, she and I sat down in probably about 4 of those meetings with TxDOT and City of Pearsall and others. You know, took us about a year almost, you know, of meetings. And every time we had a discussion with TxDOT, there was 3 or 4 other new people from the different offices, and you know, and basically, you know, saying the same thing, and you know, bringing. I mean, we brought 10 years of violations, accidents that have transpired from like half mile from that spot, from Walmart over there up to that point, and there was quite a bit of accidents and you know, a lot of traffic violations and all that kind of stuff. And they even said that when they did the study this past school year, that there was a lot of violators. I don't know, I can't remember the percentage.
9 out of 10 cars were
Yeah,
Speeding.
speeding and all that kind of stuff. So that somewhat warranted it. Anyway, that we just relocated probably further the junior high. What do you call it? The marquee, further than what we're probably, you know, the same one, the same marquee, you know, we're probably not even thinking about moving that marquee any further than half of that distance from the junior high, the way it was. But they told us the same thing about adding a 4th lane. You know, we already have the 3 and up to the gate, basically. So, you know, we were just. It's basically her project, but not necessarily her project. It's the community that had been asking for it because of the concerns and accidents, and you know, we've discussed it last year, and we actually approved it. You know, so because we don't want to say that, you know, we would hate to say that it's going to cost 1 life before we actually do something about it. And I understand probably some of the community doesn't want it, some community leaders might not want it, but I know some of them do want it. But you know, I know things change, and so it's just something that was proposed that y'all are going to look into it as well.
Thank you, Mr. Lino, for that.
Yes.
Yes, if it just saves one life, we're already winning, I don't know what the board feels about this. I do want to propose that we continue our discussion with it. Whether we move forward with it or not, I would like to suggest that something get put in place permanently there, whether it be a cross guard or some type of, one of our police officers directing traffic. I now do have a high schooler there, and I have been going through the traffic. It takes time to get out of there, and it's a dangerous intersection. So I'd like to see something permanently.
The original Maverick Drive was further south. I mean north. I'm sorry, north by the tennis courts. So so that's.
Used to be your drop-off.
Yes. Yes.
I remember. I saw drawings on that. One of the things that Dr. Spoor asked us is, can we bring that back and see if we can maybe separate? And I've got a lot of planning experience with campuses. What you really try to do is separate the bus traffic from the visitors and the students and staff. You can separate those two. The congestion and the potential of having accidents and things of that nature are somewhat limited, so to speak. So Dr. Spoor says, I'm wondering if we don't want to separate, get the buses off of the main street,
The main entrance.
and look at, and since there was a plan way back then when the school was built, that used to be I think the drop-off in the plan, the front of the school, so to speak. So of course, can you look at that to see if we can separate it and maybe try to limit the amount of traffic that goes in and out of the campus, or at least separate it to the point where hopefully maybe a reduction of accidents or something like that would happen. So I know talk to Ron about this because he's a civil engineer, he knows all the requirements, and it's possible that we may want to study that before any major decisions are made to move forward with the signalization. Another option that we may want to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if the board would like, I can start the process of a formal study and bring you some, because that is something I can do without board action. Is request a formal study and get that going, and we'll update you formally in the board with some options, just like we did for this project. And then the board can move one way or the other, but you would have a formal cost, timeline, options,
That's a good study.
and then make a motion or not.
As you said, you're probably going to have to uproot some trees, some baby trees from there, as well, and yeah.
I don't know if this all has a landscaping ordinance, but where I come from, oh my gosh, you touch a tree and you gotta replace it tenfold.
Yeah.
So we would have to investigate that along with help us out with it. And then, of course, you wanna make that entry nice, so it's not like, you just wanna knock everything down.
Right.
For sure. Does anyone else have any questions?
Sir.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Moving on to item 7B, accountability ratings update. Mr. Adam Martinez.
Yes, Mr. President, school board community, the state of Texas, Texas Education Agency released our accountability ratings for the last 2 years on the same date in August, and we are going to present those results tonight. We have Mr. Adam Martinez, our assistant superintendent.
This evening. As Dr. Spoor mentioned, on August 15th, Texas Education Agency released 2 years of state accountability performance ratings, the 23-24 school year and the 24-25 school year. So here tonight, I'm going to share with you some information on how the district has performed in our state accountability for our STAR assessments. So what you see here before you is a compilation of some historical data, including the ratings that we have received from the state of Texas, the latest ones being the 2024 and the 2025 rating. It is of note that Ted Flores Elementary is tied to the Pearsall Intermediate, so that is why you do see both of the scores the same for both of the campuses. So as we have been able to receive the ratings, the state was able to give us some information on how to calculate some ratings that weren't released. If you recall, earlier this year in May, just the 2023 ratings were released because that was in litigation, and so some of those ratings were not able to be formally released by the state. So in essence, within a very short amount of time, we've had 3 years of state accountability ratings released by the state. So it's a lot of information to take in. The ratings are, again, presented here before you. At current rating, we have one of our campuses as an F-rated campus, the intermediate campus, and again, Ted Flores is tied to that campus as well. We have our junior high performance at a 68, and our high school performance is at a 64. What we also wanted to do for you this evening, because although these ratings, again, they tell a story, but we also did want to provide you a little bit of context with some additional information in regards to how some of our neighboring districts have also performed in comparison to how Pearsall ISD has performed. So as you are seeing here, the release of the ratings, we did some comparison with our neighbors here to the south, Dilley and Cotulla. We also included Carrizo, Natalia, Devine, Pleasanton, and Lytle. And for contextual information, you can very easily see that these school districts are, again, the performance, we don't have any one of these districts in the last couple of years have received a rating of a B as a district. So we may have had some campuses that within those districts have done better than their overall district performance, but no district has been rated higher than a C in the information that we're presenting you. So for context, a lot of our neighbors around are experiencing some of the same things that we are, and we're being able to understand that although we have our unique issues here in Pearsall ISD in terms of academics and academic performance, we are also understanding that our neighbors are also experiencing some of those same things as well in regards to state accountability performance. When it comes down to what are we doing as a district and how are we approaching this upcoming school year, one thing that I've had the fortunate opportunity to do is to be able to talk to a lot of individuals, as Dr. Spoor has joined the district as well. I joined a little bit later here in the month of July. We have been able to talk to a lot of people. We've been able to understand and get a good idea of where we've been to understand our current reality. And so some of the things that Dr. Spoor has already been able to coordinate prior to my arrival here, but then also some of the things that we've been working on together. As I was being afforded the opportunity to join the district, I was able to watch some previous board meetings, and I was able to see that some of the curriculum pieces that we were able to implement for this 25-26 school year were approved by you guys as a school board. So again, I very much am appreciative of the fact that you guys were able to recognize the need and were able to approve the funding for some of the curriculum pieces. So we have brand new literacy curriculum here for this upcoming school year. We also have some brand new math curriculum, and the math curriculum is going to align from Ted Flores all the way to the high school. But one thing, and one very important thing that we've been able to address, is that we're not just giving curriculum and we're not just throwing pieces out to our staff without having support. So we do have a content consultant for both of the things that we're implementing with our reading and with our math curriculum. So these consultants are going to be able to provide assistance to our teachers, to our administrators, and are going to help with the rollout process of delivering the content, because in my opinion, it's not very fair to be able to give teachers the tools without giving them the support to be able to deliver the information and the content effectively. So that is something that is very much already off the ground and rolling for this 25-26 school year. Some other things that we're doing for our teachers, again, every campus has a dedicated instructional coach at every campus to ensure that they are there to work with the teachers and support the teachers in the needs that arise throughout the school year. Another additional piece that we're bringing on board here this year is that we do have a former mentor program. We have a couple of individuals that are working with our new teachers and also our District of Innovation teachers to be able to help support them. We do recognize that teaching is a very unique craft, and for it to be done effectively, especially for those entering the profession and that are new to the profession or that are currently uncertified, we're providing them the mentor program in order to be able to help address those needs that present themselves. And lastly here, we also are providing administrator supports. We are partnering with Region 20 for the Texas Instructional Leadership Program. Just a quick update on that. I actually had the pleasure of being able to have Region 20 for any administrator or instructional coach that wasn't able to make the summer sessions, including myself. Region 20 was able to send out the representative that has been working with us here in the district, and I was actually able to take part in a couple of days of some really good, impactful training. So that is going to be something that we're going to continue to work. Again, we did have to pivot a little bit as we are changing our focus slightly with now us going with Texas Instructional Leadership, the focus being observation and feedback. And so we are going to be working in conjunction, and I'm happy to report that I will be playing a part in that and being able to help support our campus administrators here with that in this upcoming school year. And in addition to that, the administrators are also benefiting from some leadership coaching. We are partnering with a consultant in that regard, and they are already having a chance to benefit from that. A lot of work was done in the summer in terms of planning, calendaring, organizing things for the upcoming school year, and it has been something that they will continue to work with that consultant as they're going throughout the school year in order to be able to have a positive impact both on the instructional side and then just even campus operations and managerial things on the campus. So if you have any questions, I'd love to be able to answer any questions that you may have on the information that I've been able to present.
I do have a couple of questions. So
the other thing that we're able to benefit from is if we're seeing a need that we're needing to have a little bit more support, we're able to have great partnerships with them already to be able to adjust based on the needs that our staff present.
okay, and so maybe our principals can help us out. What kind of feedback are we getting from our teachers? Like, do they feel fully supported with the, the sessions and the, implementation?
So I can speak to that already, because I just went off the phone with one of the consultants today, this evening, in conversations we were having. One of the things that she told me was just how receptive our TFE teachers are to the feedback. She goes in, she has an ongoing schedule with them, so she comes in about 3 times a week. And so in the morning, she will see one cycle in the grade level, and then that same cohort that she has in the afternoon, she will come and give feedback to them. Through that, she is also training the instructional coach so that the instructional coach can go in and support on the Mondays and Fridays that she's not there. What we have heard back from teachers has been pretty positive. We also had the math consultant come in and have some time with our second grade teachers so that they're feeling and supported with math as well. So overall, from what I've heard from both consultants and staff, is that they feel really good about this. Are they overwhelmed? Sure. There's a lot to take in, but the support is there. So I've heard nothing but positive things.
And that would be for reading and math.
For reading and math, yeah.
So is that a consensus as well for the other campuses?
Yeah, so I can piggyback off of Ms. Gonzales. So it's the same thing at the high school, and I know Mr. Martinez said that they're providing support every 6 weeks or once a month, but they're here weekly. They're offering in-class support with the teachers. They're partner teaching and co-teaching with them, and so that's in an effort to build their capacity. Our instructional coach is heavily involved with that to build her capacity as well too. A lot of times we have instructional coaches that are more, one content versus the other. So this is to expand them, to make them well-rounded, to hit all content areas. And then part of that too is walks with us as administrators, so we know what to look for within that curriculum, and then also debriefs with the teacher, the instructional coach, and myself, so that we're all on the same page, communicating, using the same language, all in an effort. And
Well,
Okay,
and of,
then my other
yeah.
question is, so while our teachers are getting their, prep and implementing the curriculum and so forth, are they getting that as a pullout? Or are they actually, like you said, in the classroom and they're kind of co-teaching with them? How is that being implemented?
It's actually both. They go through walkthroughs in the classrooms while they're actually walking with the teachers and coaching the teachers, and then after that, it's a debrief.
Debrief.
He's also been available, Ms. Manda Rodriguez, during Zoom, like POCs. He's made himself readily available for those, and during their conference time,
Like
he's
during
also
the
come back.
That's good to know. Well, I think, like, the only concern that I would have is, as they're getting their, their PD sessions on this new curriculum, et cetera, is I'm just worried about how many days are they actually being pulled out. That would be my concern, in general, is how many days are they being pulled for a good purpose, but they're not in the classroom with our students.
Right.
That would be, I know it could eventually balance out because they're going to come back and they're going to be able to implement the curriculum more effectively, but that would be my general concern is, like I said, if we need more training, that's understandable, but how many days are they actually being pulled from the classroom?
I can tell you right now, ma'am, the model that we're using is that we're trying to get it done during PLC time. And if we're going to have to pull them for some time, we'll pull it for a half day, but we're bringing it to them so that we're not losing travel time to San Antonio, that kind of thing. But the goal is to deliver it during PLC with their grade level, with, almost always it's with the grade level, by grade level, so it's very specific to them, and they work together, and then they get the coaching side by side. So one of our concerns, as we were looking at this, is we looked at also the number of beginning teachers and DOI teachers we had in the district, and felt like we really, really needed to, if we wanted to make a big impact, because you saw, a decline and then a 2-year steady, and we're concerned. We're concerned when we look at the heavy lift that teachers are asked to do because we've changed the way we teach reading. They have to do the math academies coming up, reading academies and all that. So how do you sustain that without somebody walking alongside you until you really get good at the practice? So we're putting a lot into this first year of really building their capacity and our instructional coaches and our principals' capacity to support that. What does it look like? What does it look like to go in and support a math or a literacy classroom? And so that it's sustainable and it becomes systemic and something that we do, and not just you had that training in August, I hope you remember it in November. You had the training now, we're going to come back until it becomes something they're very comfortable with, and then they're able to really see some student gain. So our goal is growth, and we're starting to measure that. We're starting with the beginning of year. We're going to be tracking it each 6 weeks at the least, and be able to come and bring the board, here's some of the results of what we're seeing. We've got a benchmark at the beginning of the year to know where we are. That's going to help us know how we're going to do on those high stakes tests that the kids have to pass at the end of the year.
And then my last question is, so instructional coaches are involved, our principals are involved, our teachers obviously are involved. So at what capacity is our curriculum director, taking part in all of this as well, so that, again, that's another level of support for our teachers?
Working in conjunction with all of those stakeholders that you just mentioned. So being able to help assist and be readily available for any of those implementation pieces that are going to be needed to be able to successfully run the curriculum pieces. So whether it be resources, whether it be ordering materials, whether it be working directly with the individuals, campus administrators, teachers, Mr. Rochester is going to be able to be available for that as well.
Is our benchmark the first tool of assessment?
If they took a STAR test last year, we always keep that, and because the state's going to look growth star to star. But what we're really going to get in the practice this year is that first at the beginning of the year test. And part of this is also looking at the big picture when we apply for the teacher incentive allotment, which we'll have a presentation next month on that. The teacher incentive allotment rewards teachers for student growth. And if they reach their growth goals, we will reach achievement goals, and accountability will take care of itself. So we're not as much focused on accountability as the end, as much as we're saying if we can help make sure every student grows, that will happen. That's not the focus. Growth is the focus. TIA rewards growth with money, and you have to measure it. So if we start now, it will be easier for us to see that reward come in a few years, because teachers will then see, okay, this is what it looks like to have a beginning of year and then an end of year to show growth, and I tie that to my instructional practices, because what I did as an adult impacted the students' growth. And that will again tie into their T-test, it will tie into TIA, so that beginning of your test is really, really important. So we're in the process of those, and rather than do it the first week, we're going to make sure it's aligned so that what we're testing is also going to be aligned to what the teachers are teaching. Instead of it all being norm referenced, it's going to be based on the kid and then what the kiddo needs to know at the end of the year.
Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 7C, Athletic Director Update.
Our athletic director, Coach Deleon, who's going to give us an update on our current stats for the 25-26 school year.
Good evening, board. Here, I don't want to boast it. Don't want it to come out of my budget. All right. Oh, yeah, go hit it. Sweet. Yeah, we're good. All right. Good evening, board, once again. So with the start of the school year, we have the start of our athletic season this year. So we're full go within our fall sports right now. So we have kicked off football, volleyball, cross country, tennis, all at the high school, and as well as with our DOI program down at the middle school. Numbers-wise right now, participation-wise, Maverick football, we have 84 currently right now. We actually added 2, so it's actually 86 this week. Our girls program, Lady Maverick volleyball is at 38. Cross country is at 16, that's combined. Tennis is at 21 combined. And then our athletic periods on our male side, we have 122. And then on the female, we have 102 in the program right now in athletics. Moving to the Dogies, our 7th and 8th grade. So our Dogie boys, 7th grade, we have 45 in the program and 42 8th graders. Our Lady Dogie volleyball, we have 24 in 7th, and then we have 25 in 8th. And then our Dogie cross country, we have a total of 20 7th graders participating right now. And then we have a total of 15 8th graders participating. And then our total number is in 7th grade, it's 108 that are in athletics, and it's broken down there, 57 male and 51 female. And then our 8th grade, it's 96 total, and it's 50 male and 46 female currently right now. This last Friday was Meet the Mavs for us. We had a real good turnout, honoring all our fall sports that were starting, including cheer, dance, and band. So it was a great turnout. Wasn't as hot as we thought it was going to be, so that was good too as well. But it was a good turnout for us out there on Friday. Upcoming home events, we have this week, we have our Big Maverick Classic for our volleyball team. Both teams are going to be able to participate. We had a school drop this week. So that kicks off tomorrow, but our girls actually play Friday and Saturday, both varsity and JV. So they will not play tomorrow. It'll end up being a Friday, Saturday for them. And then our home openers, we haven't had a home opener in 2 years officially, like week 1. So it's good. I know the kids are excited to start off the season here at home. So we open to go up against Edison, 7 o'clock on Friday. And then our tennis program next week, they are opening the district opener against Divine here at home at 4:30. I believe that is a Tuesday on the 3rd. Okay? Any questions?
The only question I have is, I mean, I don't know, later on in this agenda, we're going to have the stipend list. And part of it, we're going to be increasing, well, looking at it, for the CDL driving. How many coaches do you have CDL certified?
We have a total of 7 that have CDLs.
And they're going to all be utilized?
We all utilize them, yes.
Okay. Okay.
We spread it out. On the football side, we spread it out. I make a CDL list. We try to make sure whoever drives Thursday doesn't drive Friday. And then some guys will say, Coach, I'll drive. It doesn't mind. And then, of course, we spread it out. A lot of the majority of those are individuals that coach 2 sports at least. We have a couple that do 3 as well. And then that's kind of how we divvy it up, and they take care of it throughout the year. Yeah.
Good. And the ones that do 1 sport, and that's not the only sport that they're going to be driving as well, correct?
We have everybody that does more than one. The CDL drivers?
Out of season, they'll be driving as well, or just?
They do help when they get asked. They
Okay.
do. But at the same time, we don't want to take them away from the classroom as well.
The reason I'm asking is because we have shortage of bus drivers, and that's one of the conversations we had during the budget workshop and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. So, you know, I just want to see where y'all are at, and I'm hoping the band same way, you know. So, you know, that somewhere we got some kind of connection with
Right.
with the programs that have CDL.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
but other than that, I'm just wishing the whole program, high school and junior high, the best. You know.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. No. Anything else? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Hopefully, y'all get out there Friday night and cheer us on. So,
Yes, sir.
y'all have a good one. Go Mavs. Sorry, I would have took off with it.
We'll be moving on to Superintendent update, item 7D. Dr. Spoor.
Good afternoon. I'm going to ask if Ms. Lucero can tab for me there. Thank you. I just have a quick update since most of the divisions have given their update, so we can pitch the next one. We had a lot of fun this year with the convocation. Thank you to everybody who was able to make it. I know we had board members there. We had cheerleaders and dance team. Our mayor came out. Our school board president, Mr. Aguilar, spoke as well. And you can see just a few pictures. It was a lot of fun. We, again, we kicked it off at the high school and had the drum line out there in the front. The cheerleader, everybody came through, and it was a fun afternoon, kind of getting back to our why and remembering how important the job of the teacher is. Then we had our first week of school, and that was a lot of fun. Mr. Martinez and I were able to make the opening and ending of schools at all the campuses, and it was fun to see all those faces. We were there at TFE on the first day, and I think we saw more parents crying than kids. They were pretty emotional leaving their little ones, and we appreciate everybody's patience. You know, with the pickup in the afternoon, and want to give kudos to Ms. Gonzales and her team. You know, the first day you always know it's going to be a little bit more than normal, and then by the end of the week they had it going, moving faster, and just trying to respond. You know, we have that new parking lot now, and I think that probably helped a whole lot with the first day. Also wanted to give a shout out to the other principals as well. You know, Ms. Baker doesn't have yonder pouches, so their campus came up with a way for them to secure the phones that, you know, some of the kids have phones because they're going home by themselves in the afternoon and parents need to know where they are, so they made arrangements. And then the junior high and high school also working on those yonder pouches, and it went really smoothly. But it was fun to see so many smiling faces. You know, kids were really excited to be back, and it's just been fun to get into the swing of it. And we are now finishing our 4th week, so we are closing in on that first marking period really quickly. Just want to give you a bit of context here for some of the, you know, as we started talking about enrollment and attendance as part of our budget hearing. You can see here, wanted to look at what did it look like last year on our first day, and what does it look like, you know, August 21st. So you can see for each of the campuses, we have what was the first day of school last year, what was our first day this year on August 5th, and then August 21st. So you can see, for example, look at Ted Flores. We started out last year with 432. This year we started at 452. 3 weeks later at 488. So that's 30 kids. So, and you know, that's a lot. Last year they ended school with 506 kids. So we're on track to finish where we were. Their average attendance through last week was 94.75. So everybody has been really doing a great job of monitoring attendance, even through, you know, some outbreaks of some of the sniffles and stuff that kept kids home, which is typical for the start of the school year, especially with our littles. Our goal is 96% as a district, because we know that if students are present, then they have a greater opportunity to learn. It also impacts our budget because we are funded by the state, not based on how many kids enroll, but how many kids come to school. So the more kids come to school, the more we are given the resources to educate them. You can see at the intermediate school, they went up as well quite a bit. They are right close to where they were at the end of the year. And then you see the junior high by their jump put them August 21st well above where they were at the first day last year and above where they were at the end of school. So they've got a big increase there, and they, congratulations, hit that 96% average for those first 3 weeks. Thank you. And then the high school, you can see where we started last year with 567. Already now they're at 574, and last year we ended at 550. So we're well above what we were last year for the high school, which is really good news. So we look for enrollment not to drop, but we also don't look for a huge increase. We think it's probably going to, it's stabilized now quite a bit. The first few weeks were a lot of new folks coming in, but now we're really focusing on that attendance piece. Any questions on attendance or enrollment? Absolutely. So we monitor it daily, and I appreciate, again, all the work that the teachers are doing, making it a welcoming place for kids where they want to be there. Kids know that they are wanted and needed every day, and then following up on how can we support families who might have some concerns. As was mentioned by several folks earlier, we did have a great strategic planning, and I would like to thank the board. We had everybody who was in town was there, and that was on a Monday night. Want to thank the community for coming out. Our partners at Moat Casey are leading this strategic planning, and phase 1 of it was a community and parent feedback meeting on the 18th. And we broke up into groups, and we did that SWOT analysis, and we talked about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to the district. And 2 of the biggest areas that came out were social media and mental health. That came out from almost every single group as something that they felt was a threat to our students in our community. And so in response to that, we had already planned several things, but we're going to ramp it up. On September 15th, you'll start seeing some of that come out. We're going to have a parent and family engagement evening, and the focus is going to be online and social media safety. And so you'll start seeing those flyers come out now. We're partnering with a former student, and she is a researcher now at Texas A&M in College Station, and her group is actually looking at the impact of social media on student mental health. So that was very timely. We're going to invite our PTO to be a part of it as well, and really try to get as many families as we can to come out and learn some important information. We'll have our own police department give some more information as well. So look for more of that to come out. Another thing that came up was a real concern with transportation, and you're going to hear a report on that coming up here in just a bit in the action section of the agenda. And also special education. And we have a new director and a new assistant director in place this year who've made incredible strides so far, serving our students. And we are partnering with the Service Center at Region 20 to do a comprehensive review of our special education services. And so they will be doing, it's an audit that we ask them to come look at our systems, how we do what we do, and that includes, they will have some parent interviews. So they will send out some surveys to folks, and then they will invite some parents to come in and give us some feedback on, you know, how their experiences go being a part of, you know, the ARD committees, their students' particular plans. Just we want to look at where we can grow there and improve, and we want to give the community, again, an opportunity to give us some feedback on that. So those are the big rocks that we have had this last month. Can I answer any questions?
It's a good 4 weeks.
It's been a very good 4 weeks. It's been a very exciting 4 weeks.
I don't have no questions. I just want to make some compliments actually. Just earlier today, I don't know if Dr. Spoor had a chance to actually forward it to you and to anybody that has actually showcased our students, our staff, and the whole district in general. On the web pages, whether it's Facebook or on the district web page, they gave a great compliment coming from the city, you know, for you and the other staff that actually does post on there. And I love, you know, the post about the band, the decals for dads, with dads, you know, what, a couple of days ago or yesterday?
Last night, yeah.
And then during the summer, the band as well. And then, of course, all the classrooms, you know, each one of y'all, you know, principals that doing a marvelous job, you know, with y'all staff and the students. So just keep it up and keep showcasing our district. You know, we need that positivity, you know, so doing a great job.
Awesome. Yeah. I agree with that. If we don't tell our story, someone else will. So we need to make sure that we're posting the things that we want to showcase. And good job on this presentation. It was good to see visuals with what we're reading as well. So
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now, moving on to the next item, the consent agenda, item 8.
So we've compiled several things in the consent agenda that really are, if you wish to pull any out, you can pull them out. Otherwise, they were pretty self-explanatory and many of them regulatory in nature. Rather than go over them individually, unless you ask us to pull them out, we can answer any general questions that you might have.
We're just talking about items A through E, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So they're presented to us, and if you have any questions, we can answer them or pull them as well. So, where is it? Consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions or want to pull any items for further discussion? And if not, can I get a motion?
So the questions were general.
Yes, you can ask general questions, or we could pull them out, correct, for
Yeah, I can answer questions in general, or if you don't feel comfortable approving all consent items, you can pull up one to vote in particular. Otherwise, we can answer questions in general. It comes to you as one giant proposal of approval.
I know that personally, I would like to look at item C a little bit more in detail.
Okay, what questions can we answer on that one?
So I looked at the costs that we are spending on consultant fees.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the questions that I had is, what we owe now, is that would that be part of the total contract? Should we approve the contracts of these different consultants? So like, I know one of them is, it appears that it is a whole amount.
So those have been partially paid, or most of them have been mostly paid. And part of what we're doing is moving a lot of our expenses for contracted services and consultants from federal programs over into budget. So it hits at the new budget year coming, and in order to not lose them, we're asking just to be able to go for a short amount and then bring those separated out individually for each of those bigger ones. But we wanted to show those to you right now because we are going to end up going over 50 total before we finish their contracts.
So when I looked at the consultant fees myself, it appears that we basically have a bill of about $78,000, if that's accurate, based on the information that we received.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that needs to be paid by, so is there a deadline for that, or that's already been paid?
Partial has been paid because we paid partial of it out of the federal funds, and we're looking to pay the rest of it. Now, what we can also do is yank this and bring it back to you with each one separated out for it. We can, if that is
So some of this was already brought to you in June, like ORSM consultant, that was Mr. Miguel.
Yes.
And Educate Walk with a Purpose was also by Mr. Rochester, and y'all approved, he had quotes, y'all approved at that time. At this time, it's because for 24-25, they're going to, by the time this August is done, and they're continuing to provide services that they will hit that $25,000 threshold, and that's why they're being bought. It's the same thing as if we were buying one oven for food service last year, whatever was the equipment, and it hit that $25,000 threshold, it was gonna be more, it needed to be approved as per board policy. Legal policy is 50,000, but local has it at 25.
Right. So like one of the contracts in particular stated that it was a 43-day contract per grade level, if I remember correctly.
mm-hmm.
So how much of that has been done? Maybe 6 days, maybe 3?
I don't know about days, I just know what's presented for payment as far as invoices.
Let me pull them up.
For 25-26, it started in the summer, but it's going to carry over to 25-26. This is for payments for the current year.
So they service, invoice, and pay, right? They service, they invoice us, and then we pay them. So we should be ready.
I don't know, is anybody else, I mean, I'm just looking at the dollar amount. I understand what it's for, but, you know, when I looked at the contract myself, I looked at like 43 days per grade level, you know, and, you know, these are steep fees. We're talking 2,000 at least per day. So,
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody else is, will they reach the 43 days?
Mm-hmm.
My question is, you said 25, 26, so it's gonna carry over to 25, 26, and I know when we asked in your report, you
Mhm.
stated that right now we're using we're using federal funds for right now, current year. Come in the future, is 25, 26 coming out of general fund?
Yes.
And we're also.
And why is that, may I ask?
So federal programs has moved over, they're gonna use the majority of their funds for salaries next year. And so then instead of picking up the cost for consultants and supplies, that'll hit local, as well as we will utilize the EMAT, the instructional materials development technology to offset some of those costs as well.
Honestly, it made it easier for us to pay for salaries out of federal because then it's a one-time thing rather than coming back and having to do a lot of the bookkeeping with that. It took care of federal, and we want to make sure that we use all of the federal funds. We don't want to leave anything on the table in case they decide that they're going to take something away if it's not used. And in the past, we could roll some. So we have the money budgeted in the proposed budget. And so right now, it's one of those stopgap measures that we know we're gonna go over, and I can't tell you the exact amount until we close out tomorrow, but that's part of the approved curriculum. And again, when we looked at what would it cost for any of these companies to come, you know, what it comes to send their people, or for us to send people to, that amount hitting a whole campus for a whole day for, you know, 3 grade levels at a time, 4 grade levels at a time, was market value. I mean, that is, you know, it costs us $1,200 to bring one person from Region 20 for a day. And that's for a general thing, not for what they're getting with what these guys are doing.
And if I remember correctly, so please correct me if I'm wrong, when we looked at the proposed budget, there was a 97% increase. Is that correct? When you were presenting on the increase of instruction and curriculum?
That's correct.
Let me go back, because I want to make sure I got that right.
That's correct.
Was it 97 or was it 57?
It went up a million. It was that. and that's what we all have to look at, and they'll be going over that, but their explanation, or basically what we're having to do now is, we're having to catch up. And so in order for us to be able to get our teachers and to get everybody else to where they need to be at, that's what these professionals are coming in and trying to help us with. And that's something that we tried to do prior to you coming on the board and trying to get those types of things done, is that, but we weren't getting it. So, yes, it is a high cost, but in order for us to be able to improve this year and maybe next year, that's what we're gonna have to invest back into our students. And that's what we're doing.
I understand about investment, absolutely. I was just a bit alarmed, and it could be because of lack of experience. The numbers were pretty steep.
Yeah.
And again, if I may, that's also because the money that we would have spent on a lot of this stuff was federal before. So when we're taking out all of this money from federal and we're putting it into the budget, that federal is still going to be paying, but now it's paying for salaries. So salaries went over there. So there is an increase, not a whole million, but probably closer to a half of new things that we're bringing in. But it's where we moved that over that it went here. And one of the things that we're going to be able to do is, this doesn't include, we have about 400, Lisa, in EMAT? About $400,000 in the instructional materials and technology allotment that we can tap into for some of this. So while we've put it here, and we're saying I need to keep it here for now, and I need permission to spend, we're going to go pull from all of our grants, and including the EMAT grant, first before we spend local. But it's there because, again, I see some of the other districts slid, or the districts as a whole didn't rise, and we held it as 62, and we've got an F campus, so, and we've got, now that's going to be 3 campuses in school improvement, because Ted Flores gets to do school improvement, intermediate does school improvement, and the high school was in school improvement. So we need to triage. And I need to make sure that also we have a third of our staff is either alternative certification or DOI. And according to the state, they have, if they're in a core content at the primary grades, this is their last year. They must get that certificate in order to keep their job. So I'm pouring a lot of support into them to be able to do their job well, and into supporting the teachers so that they can do their job to the best of their ability so that our students will be successful. And we're going to track it along the way. This is not a hope and a prayer. It's a very strategic plan to really see a massive amount of growth in a year. We don't believe the problem has been the kids or the teachers. It's been the system that hasn't supported them in getting them what they need in order for them to do great things. All the elements are there now is what we really believe. And again, you can ask the principals. We're checking a lot. We're going into classrooms like never before. The teachers are having some aha moments. I think some of the parents have told us they're feeling some aha moments. Again, we also just put in for another teacher. Why? Because kindergarten hit 23 in every class. Need to get those numbers down. So it ain't cheap, but we feel like if I'm looking at where I'm going to put the money, it's into the instruction piece. It's into what we're going to give the teachers. And so when we look at the total cost per pupil, that's where it is. So there are some other big ticket items that, you know, we got to buy new cameras and stuff like that. We're going to hope safety grant can kick some of that in. We put it in the main budget until we can pull it out of there. So we have some flexibility in that budget, but we're just saying we really don't want to do anything now to interrupt what we're doing, because we missed that stopgap of end of the fiscal year moving into the new one.
And I understand that completely, and I really appreciate the elaborate explanation, but, you know, at the end of the day, we're all going to have accountability with the
Absolutely.
cost and with the ratings, and so, you know, again, that was my reason for, you know, getting some more information on this.
And I respect that, and I ask the hard questions. That's what we're here to answer. We want transparency. We want everybody to see what we're doing, absolutely. And I know if the minute we feel like it's not working, we're going to pivot. We're not going to wait weeks, we're pivoting right away. You know, when they're coming to us and saying, oh, I need help with this, let's do it. This isn't working, well, let's fix it. So we're really trying to be very responsive in a quick way because we are not going to have another year of presenting you a D district in F schools. We're done with that. So whatever they need, we're going to get them. Absolutely.
Anyone else have any questions on the consent agenda? And if not, can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through E as presented.
I have a motion made by Lionel Gondola. Do I have a second? I'll second. I have a second by Mari Benavides. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to action items. Item 9, discuss and consider the approval of the bus ride transportation software.
So we have Mr. Martinez is going to present. I don't know if Mr. Esquivel was able to still be here. We are very excited about this opportunity to really provide some extra support to our transportation services. As mentioned at the community input, this was a concern. I know it's a concern that the board has brought to us as well for what can we do to provide better support for our families. So, Mr. Martinez.
Yes. Good evening once again, Mr. President, members of the board, and Dr. Spoor. I'm excited to be able to present to you some information in regards to the bus ride transportation system. Again, we've been able to really hear and understand that there are a lot of needs when it comes down to transportation, and one of the things that we were very much able to identify is that we got some challenges here in the district. So inefficient routing systems, again, it also increased our costs and fuel use. We became aware that we're missing some students that could possibly be on routes that are not necessarily on routes right now. Parents, they're really not having real-time information in regards to what time is the bus going to pick up my child, or what time is my kid going to get home in the evening whenever they're getting done with school and having to get on a bus route. And when it comes down to the drivers, they don't have anything that is going to be able to give them real-time updates whenever life happens, because we all know, although as much as we would like for it to not happen, there are going to be things that are going to be able to dictate changes and adjustments. So we were very easily able to identify those challenges. One of the things I want to do for you right now, and I'm not sure if maybe we can turn off partial lights, but we're going to show you a quick video. It's about 90 seconds that's going to help understand and explain a little bit, and then I'm going to elaborate and expand on the things that it's kind of cover in the video. So I'm hopeful that this is going to work correctly. Technology is great until it's not. So let's check it out.
What I love most about Rexburg is the diversity of the town. My name is Brandon. This is the best school district I have ever worked in, hands down. And I have a team of really good, dedicated drivers. I heard about bus rates about 4 years ago. It just simplifies the whole process of moving students from point A to point B on a daily basis. Because bus rides product is going to tell us turn by turn where to go, where to stop to pick up the kids, what side of the road our stops are on. I definitely think it simplifies the parent's life as well. Through the parent app, they can track the ETA of the bus. It's less than 2-second delay on the update on the map. And so the parents are really getting to see in real time where that bus is on their child's route. If you're short drivers and you need to be able to cover multiple routes, you can go right into BusRite and temporarily merge those routes, and it'll show up onto that driver's tablet and it'll redirect them. BusRite is impacting the student transportation industry in a way that we haven't seen in the past. I feel more than a customer. I feel like we are truly part of the BusRite family.
So in that short 90-second clip, you were able to get a little bit of an idea with the visual in regards to the Bus Right program. And so we were able to have an initial consultation meeting with a representative from the Bus Right company. And we were able to learn a lot in just a short amount of time. And I think a lot of it is encompassed in that video. So what they pride themselves on is intelligent routing. They have a sophisticated system that is going to be able to make putting all of our information, and it does partner with some of the systems that we already work, including the Ascender program that we use here in the district. So it's going to seamlessly integrate to be able to implement the Bus Right system. Real-time GPS tracking, just like you would have in your vehicle, the GPS navigation that you have, that you're familiar with, that's going to be the same concept that our bus drivers are going to be able to use in the actual bus that they're going to be driving. Gives them turn-by-turn driver navigation, so there isn't a wonder of did they need to make a left or a right. It's going to actually guide them, and it's going to be able to show them real quick. One of the other highlights that they pride themselves on is to have a parent mobile app. So if you are a parent of a child that's going to be riding the bus, you're going to be able to download the app, and you're going to be able to have turn by turn where that bus is at. It's actually pretty neat, as you were able to see in the video. It gives you the little bus icon, and it's going to show you where it's turning, where it's at. And another thing that we were able to also learn about, and is supported by a dedicated concierge representative from the district, or that partners with the district, excuse me, they're going to be able to also send messages. So should the bus be running a little bit late, with a click of a couple of buttons on our side, we're going to be able to send an update to the parents and give them that update. So should life happen again and the bus be running a few minutes behind, parents are starting to kind of get worried, where's the bus? If they're able to have their app, it's going to be able to give them that information relatively easily in a few clicks and sending out a message. So we really thought that was a nice feature for our parents. The parents haven't had that right now, and so I can understand their frustrations in regards to just where is the bus, where is it going. Whenever they don't start to see the bus, they start being a parent and they start getting worried. It's going to be able to address that as well. When it comes down to the routes that we're actually going to be able to have, one of the things is we're going to be able to adjust the schedules based on our school start times and end times. We're also going to be able to adjust locations. One of the neat features that we're able to see is that there may be some times where we're needing to make adjustments and we're needing to be able to maybe pick up a different student first or push a route a little bit because of just the needs. And the other thing that we were able to learn is that, well, again, when life happens, say maybe we're down a bus driver in a route and we're needing to condense and we're needing to be able to make two routes into one, we're able to very easily do that by just clicking, dragging, and making sure that we have that one route, then pick up all of the other people that are needing to get picked up. So it's very, very seamless when it comes to that. The other things is that we're looking for efficiency. Right now, we are very much the traditional, either on paper. Mr. Esquivel, I got to give it to him. He's been part of the district a lot of years, but a lot of it is Mr. Esquivel knowing and being familiar with our routes, our community, with the things that have been done in the past. That has been able to get us to the point where we're at right now, but we're also trying to look for efficiency. We're trying to be able to make his job a lot easier, and the role of the parent make it a lot less stressful for it to be able to operate a little bit easier with this system. When it comes down to those updates that I was mentioning, when it comes down to the parents, they have a 2-second GPS ping rate. That means every 2 seconds it's going to be giving them an update. So it's real time. So 2 seconds, again, it's not a lot of time. It's going to be able to update very, very, very quickly. And again, when it comes down to safety and accountability, we're going to be able to have where our parents are going to be able to feel secure. One of the things that you were able to see in the video is that every student is going to be given a card. It's very similar to our cards that we have as employees here, and it's an NFC card. And when they're able to go on to the actual bus, they're going to be able to click right there, and it's going to be able to check them in. So if a parent was wondering, well, did my child make it on the bus today? Are they on? Are they actually there? They're going to know, because it's going to have their student checked in, and they're going to be able to see that their child was actually able to get on the bus. Should they not be at home? I know some parents work. Some parents don't have the opportunity to be at the bus stop with the child every single day. So it's going to be able to give them that really, really quickly. And then for our drivers, one of the things that we were able to do, as I came on board, we were able to implement some meetings with our maintenance, our custodial, and our transportation department. We just actually had a meeting with them last Friday, and we were able to share with them some of the resources and some of the videos about the program, just to give them a little bit of a general idea of some of the things that we're going to be trying to be able to do to help them. The turn-by-turn navigation, again, if we are having someone that's unfamiliar with the route but are having to pick up a route and having to help because of the needs of the district, some of them may be familiar with the route, others may be unfamiliar. Well, with this system, that's not a factor because it's going to give them, just like you would be driving in your car, turn-by-turn navigation so that they can pick up every child. The other thing that it didn't quite highlight, but one of the things that Dr. Spoor and I really, really loved, so I remember as a campus principal receiving phone calls from parents. Mr. Martinez, the bus didn't pick up my child. My child was there at the bus stop, and it just passed, and it didn't come and pick up my child. Well, as a part of the system, it is going to tell us exactly how long a bus was stopping at a particular stop. If it was stopping for 20 seconds, for 5 seconds, for a minute, it's going to tell us exactly how long that the bus was there and how long they stopped. So if I'm having a parent that's concerned because the bus didn't come in and didn't make the stop, all I would have to do is log on to the dashboard. I can see that, well, Mr. So-and-so, I'm showing that the bus stopped for 30 seconds, and I'm able to verify that it was your stop, it was your location, and it was able to stop for 30 seconds. The other feature that it also has in the, again, the safety realm, we are also able to track the speed of the bus as well. So it's going to be able to tell us how fast that bus is going. So if there's any concerns where, well, Mr. Martinez, the bus was going really, really fast. I was concerned they were just going too fast going down the road. We're going to be able to see from wherever they're reporting it from how fast the bus was actually going because it's going to be able to track that as well. So it's going to give us that, that real-time data. And again, our goal here is to be able to operate an effective and efficient bus route system. So I feel really good about that. We've talked a little bit about it already, but the mobile app, again, the live estimated time of arrivals for the students. And for us to be able to have push notifications, should our routes be running a little bit later, we can be able to send out a quick message. Hello parents, our route is running just about 10 minutes behind. Please bear with us. We're going to be able to get to your child here very, very quickly, but it is going to be about 10 minutes behind. We're able to seamlessly do that. Reducing parent phone calls to not only the transportation or central office, but I'm going to be honest, it's also going to reduce your phone calls that you may get from parents as well. So I'm hopeful that that's going to be something that would be welcomed and well received if you don't have as many phone calls with concerns from parents in regards to transportation, things like that. So again, we're trying to reestablish some of that trust, some of that rapport with our community, and this is just one of the efforts that we're going to be able to do that in regards to the transportation that we're going to be looking. So as a district, again, we're going to benefit from more efficient, effective operations when it comes down to that. And it's also going to have a reduced cost impact as well. For drivers, it's going to be easier, and it's going to be something that is going to be very easy to be able to learn the system. When it comes down to the implementation, the first 30 days are being able to get us the equipment that we're going to be able to need. They are Samsung tablets that are going to be able to come to the district with the cost of everything in the program. They're also going to be able to include the data plan that is going to be needed in order to be able to have all of the GPS and monitoring and everything like that. They're going to be able to send us all of the hardware that's going to be needing to get installed onto the buses from what they're telling us. It's actually very interesting. There's not going to be like how you would have to plug in like a charger or like a USB cable in your car. It's actually going to be wired into the battery. So I was actually like, oh, that was one of my questions of how are we going to have this thing powered, or how are we going to have it, run in the bus? It's actually going to be powered to the actual battery in the bus. So we're not going to have to worry about, that being a concern. When it comes down to the transparency, again, we're hopeful that the parents are going to really, really enjoy this software because of all of the features that it has on the parent side, including the app, to be able to understand where their child is at and how quickly they're going to be able to get their child back to them. So we're really, really excited. I've covered a lot of things here this evening. If you have any specific questions, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have, but we're really, really excited about this bus right transportation system. So we have been quoted the price, and it is going to be to include 15 of our district vehicles, buses that we have, also our smaller buses, also to include some of our buses that are SUVs that are going to be used for routes.
additional cards, same cost? I mean, it's included?
All of that's gonna be included.
Okay. I do have a question. I know basically we're talking about the route buses. What about for extracurricular activities, like trips?
Very much. So again, they were asking,
We're gonna have a game here in a couple of weeks, whatever, in Zapata,
Yeah.
and then we have some students that are.
So when it comes down to it, it's as simple as, you know what, we're going to have the trip to Zapata coming up. We put it into the system. We put the start time. We put the projected end time. And it gets logged in as a trip into the system. And the same features that you would have as long as you're downloading that parent app, you're going to be able to have whether it be a football game, volleyball game, track, whatever it may be, same type of concept. Or a field trip, say you have a small child that's going to San Antonio. That's the other thing that we were able to kind of have because of the route and the GPS things. Well, maybe there's construction on the route. It's going to be able to help them navigate through those things because, well, if you've ever been to San Antonio here lately, everything can't hardly go anywhere without it being construction. So it's going to be able to help with that route efficiency as well.
In that case, I mean, I don't, you can have the football team, the band, the cheerleader, the drill team, just about every student out there. Not all the parents can be going, so do they necessarily have, does every student have to have one? Probably not, but I'm just referring to the ones that live like out in the country that, so would they need one already from the get-go just for that purpose, or, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, that's going to be something that, again, for the initial rollout, the thought was for our routes that we have on a normal everyday basis. Now, we're able to expand because, again, those cards, they're going to be able to give them to us however many that we need. It's a part of the contract that we're going to enter. So that's going to be something that, again, with the field trips, athletic events, band, whatever it may be, we're going to have the option of being able to do that same concept as we would have with the regular routes, the normal routes.
Service for a sped student in San Antonio?
I believe we still are, yes, sir.
That being utilized as well?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Replacement of hardware with wear and tear, is that included in the cost?
Yes, that was one of the things we asked as well. Technology is great until it's not, right? So with our agreement, should we have life happen, say we have maybe a special instance where one of the tablets was broken, things like that, they told us, all you do is let us know, we send you another one, there you go. It's going to be included in the price.
Who would be the one managing it? Is it the transportation department or?
So what we envision right now is a collaborative effort between the technology department and the transportation department. So the rollout, the way that it is, again, the first 30 days are going to be able to order the equipment whenever we enter in, if we have it approved to enter into the agreement. First 30 days are designed to be able to get the hardware and equipment. The next 30 days are going to be spent implementing the actual system, training the drivers, training the people that are going to be managing the dashboards and the system on the back end of it, doing that whole training piece. So Dr. Spoor and I were kind of thinking, we would want to have this implemented as quickly as possible, but really and truly, they have their own ways of rolling it out, and it is going to be at least a couple of months on the fast side, anywhere from 2 to 3 months to be able to implement fully. What we don't want to have happen is that we roll this out too quickly and we have the failure of implementation because we don't have a good enough understanding of what it is that our people that are going to be using it on a daily basis, we want to make sure that they feel comfortable and competent using it.
Perfect.
And I think I do want to ask one last question. Not only did you answer the question of, who's going to manage it, but, sorry. I forget that I have a teacher voice, so I'm like, they can hear me. But anyhow, so my question was, so if we approve this and we get it going and parents start getting the app on their phone, how do we monitor to make sure that it's parents actually being the one, tracking the routes? I'm thinking safety here. How do we monitor that it's only parents actually watching our kids in our buses at those bus stops, etc.?
I'm gonna give you the genuine answer right now. We're gonna have to work with the bus right people to address exactly what you just said. Now, one of the things that I also do recognize is that even at Ted Flores here this year, we implemented the Pick My Kids system that's app-based as well. So on the positive side, we've had a very, very good rollout with parents able to download and be able to have that, but it's predicated on they're given information that's going to tie them to their kid. And so with the bus right, we are going to have to expand a little bit more on the, well, how are we ensuring that all of the parents that are signing up are going to have the right information, and it's going to be tied to the right kid. I would venture to think that it's going to be a very similar process in nature, but I can get more specifics on that.
Yes, I think that would be the only one thing that would concern me, because, you know, I'm not a very tech savvy person, but, you know, I use Remind. And I will not approve anyone that does not tell me specifically.
Yeah.
You know, I am Adam's mom.
They have to request it, and
Right.
you have to approve it.
I have to
Yeah.
know, because I can't just let anybody in.
So the other good part that I'm already kind of just connecting dots as we're kind of hearing and talking, the system works on the Ascender program. So the parent that's going to be able to be as a parent guardian in the Ascender system, it's going to link it, and it's going to be able to talk, and it's going to be able to have. So that may be very well something that it's going to be able to easily address based on, if you're not a parent or guardian in the Ascender system, it's not going to allow you to be able to have that. But I will get more information on that.
That would be my only concern.
Is there any way we could see like a demo before we?
Yeah, well, and again, it's going to be a process from whenever we have the program actually implemented. We're also going to be, again, having those same things, because we see the initial parts of like how the system works, but I got to see it person too. So very much, yeah, we can work on giving the opportunity to have like a demo of kind of how all of the functions, things like that, if that's, yeah.
I say we go on a bus route.
Why not, right? Experience it. Yeah, the process of what it would feel like and everything. So.
I do want to say that back in the day, we had a principal, and he would make a, you know, hey, we're going to need a bus on this day, and he would load up all his teachers and say, these are places that you need to understand, not only where kids come from, but this is where they come from, that they have to travel 20 miles. And we did the bus route.
Very much. And, you know, that is going to be something for all of our staff to understand, that the children that we service here in the district, they all have unique needs. They come from all different types of backgrounds. Some of them are very fortunate, others are less fortunate. And for our staff to be able to really understand at the student level those kids and their needs, something like that is very helpful. Absolutely.
Doing all the planning and looking at all this, y'all did do a demo though, right?
We were able to see, yes, with the actual representative walking us through and the dashboard and all, how it would look like, things like that. But in our hands, like we could log in as a demo account, we have yet to do that part. But everything was shown to us, all of the components, everything that would, in essence, without us actually doing it ourselves, we saw everything that it would be able to do. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think this is going to be something that's going to be very well received.
One of the other things that we discussed is right now, you know, our transportation department also has to do a lot of reports, and we don't believe that we're getting the full reimbursement that we should for transportation, and part of that is the reporting. And so all of that would be automated with this. It wouldn't be compiling things, asking, you know, the person who's the secretary, who also is a bus monitor, who's also doing this, to stop her job and to get all this together. It would already be done automatically, so we know it's correct. Another thing that came up is, you know, if we are allowed to pick up children within 2 miles of their school if we can prove it's a hazardous route. We have train tracks, and we have, you know, business 36 with all sorts of 18-wheelers going. I know in the past the district did have, I mean, Mr. V.I.D.A. was talking to me about it, that we have had that. If we don't currently have that, that is something that would be easily done. We envision enough efficiencies where we would probably be able to pick up most every kid who needs to. And, you know, the principal tells us, look, I've got a kiddo who lives close enough, but latchkey kid is only going to get here if we pick him up. All I got to do is pin that kid, and boom, they're in. The other nice thing about it, talking to a sender, is now I have a pin of where every child is located in the district. We don't have that now. I have no way of seeing where everybody is. But this would give us, based on their enrollment data, and every night it will sync up with a sender, which if a new child moves in today, it will sync in, and then it will say this child wants bus service, so the next day, boom, it's going to show up in there as a new kid. I pick them up and put them in a route. It's that easy. And then the parents will know what route it is just by going to the app. They don't have to call and find out what is my route and all that. So that alone for me was a lot cheaper than when we looked at some of the other software, some of the bigger software that I'm familiar with from other districts. that doesn't provide that. It provides the geocaching piece, but it doesn't provide that immediately. Talk to a sender, get it on the map, get it for the kid and the bus driver right away the next day. Same thing if, you know, we have a special education route and I need to say this child needs to not go at the end, it needs to go at the beginning. All I got to do is move them in the order and it will automatically reshuffle so that nobody has to think. It's done efficiently for you on that. So that's going to help. The reporting is going to help. And they said part of the reason they want to roll it out slowly is also working with our stakeholders, not just the drivers and the administration, but also the parents on what to expect on that. So they're happy to give us a larger presentation. We said we thought we had it tonight, but if y'all would prefer to wait, we can wait and have them come do a presentation where you can ask them questions as well.
Addresses or change the phone number, and so that might be something that as they're having to have their child continue to use bus riding services, getting an updated address and then updated in a sender so that our accurate records are going to be there too. So that's another maybe unintended benefit, but very much something that we really need at times for our parents to have the most up-to-date current address and phone number in the system. So yeah.
And then when we got deeper into it, it's like, well, what phone number did you use? Was it different? And I'm like, oh yeah, it is different. So when we would put the new phone number in, they would pick up and then they would see their child. So it was beneficial for us.
Yeah.
So overall, you all recommend?
Absolutely.
So I feel good moving forward with it as personally on my side. What? Anybody else has any questions?
I just want to know who's going to run it.
Yeah. Which you
who's
said.
Who's going to run it on a day-to-day basis to ensure that we're utilizing the product the way it's designed to? Because if we go into it 30 days, 45 days, and we say, well, we don't really understand it, and then we just don't do anything with it, then we're out $30,000. And so, because of the technology piece is fine, and it's just like AI right now. But unless you really know what you're talking about, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And so I'm not saying you. I'm just talking about. I'm talking I'm a generalist, and it's concerning because we're gonna get something, but we don't have anybody to operate it, and that's a concern, especially with the people that not. And again, the people that we have at the bus barn are not technology people. They're mechanics, they're bus drivers, and most of them don't do any type of that work. So we have to ensure that whoever's going to run this, if it's a secretary, that they're trained and that they properly understand what this thing is capable of doing and is able to communicate that effectively to the parents and to the end users that are going to utilize the product.
Administratively, Mr. Ramirez, I'm very happy that you're able to bring forward that concern. That is going to be our work in determining the way that it's going to be able to be managed. Again, primarily the transportation department is going to have the primary responsibility, but also working with the technology department. But our work as administration is going to be to identify who are going to be the best people that are going to be able to actually manage and see it on a day-to-day basis. And so I'm confident in being able to find those right individuals and to be able to have this successfully implemented and rolled out.
Technically, we have a director of transportation with the secretary. We have the staff to do this, and it's incumbent upon us to support them and make sure it doesn't fail.
Absolutely.
So we will. And
so they'll be readily available.
Oh yeah.
I can tell you already, a lot of what I do is being able to work and interact with some of those departments.
With our air conditioning control systems, we spent I don't know how much money, and we're yet to see that system function. And if it is functioning, we don't know about it. But we spent something like $600,000, and it's still not functioning. So yes, I'm concerned about it, especially as a reoccurring cost of $30,000
second by Doramata Rodriguez. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on to item 9B, discussion and consider approval of the stipend list for the 25-26 school year.
At our last budget workshop, we discussed the stipends. Those were pulled from the compensation plan for further review, and so we have our Director of Human Resources, Michelle Deleon, to present the budget stipend, the stipends that we worked on together with the board at the budget workshop. Ms. Deleon?
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
So the stipends I'm presenting to you today are the ones that we, like Dr. Spoor said, discussed at our budget meeting. These stipends are to help personnel with supplemental duties and leadership roles. These also align with legal policy requirements, equity and transparency in employee compensation. If you look closely, we did used to have two different stipends. I would say math shortage, junior high, math shortage, high school. We combined those two to say secondary math because junior high and up is secondary math. We did also specify on there for it to say certified only, as well as the secondary science. It's no longer junior high shortage or high school shortage, it's secondary science. And again, that's for individuals that are certified in that subject area. We've also increased every single junior high stipend, coaching stipend, for example. So all the assistant coaches and junior high coaches are at $2,500. We've also increased the assistant band director stipend to $8,000. We've also added CDL, certified professionals, and so that is to help, as Coach Deleon was saying, that they have 7 certified coaches, right? And so we are hoping, because we do have a shortage of bus drivers, we are hoping that this stipend will help to compensate those individuals to help us with whether it's extracurricular activities, band competitions, morning and afternoon routes, hopefully. And if they are interested in doing that, they would just have to send myself, HR, their driver's license to verify that they do have that they do have the credentials to do that, because they do have to have a passenger endorsement in order to drive students around. And so for that, they would get an additional $4,000 stipend. And then also one more thing that we did add was the crossing guard stipend on this side, and that is because they were hourly employees, and so we raised their hourly rate to the 5%, which is 75 cents. However, in the year, it would be $1,078 that they would be increased throughout the year.
Dr. Spoor, could you ask about the adjunct stipend maybe?
So I had reached out in hopes that as our dual credit program grows and stuff, that our teachers who do have masters and who do become adjunct instructors, if there was any kind of stipend that we could offer to help, you know.
So for the dual credit, they do get $2,000 per course that they teach.
But that is for the
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Well,
And that's on there.
the masters, I think,
Correct. Right, because that's not required as part of their regular teaching duties. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I said, plus they also get the master's stipend.
Yes.
I want to make sure that the record. I need one of those things. So I want to make sure that the public that's watching us also understand that Pearsall ISD is being very, very generous with these stipends as far as math and science. So I'm going to advocate for that, because we also talked about, should I get certified anytime during the school year in these content areas, we will definitely, acknowledge and pay that stipend.
Correct.
So I do want to make sure that I want our teachers to know that we want them fully certified, we want them highly qualified, and if I get that certification in March, I still know that I'm going to earn that stipend. So I want to make sure that we make a big deal about that, because we want to bring in great teachers.
And they will also, like you said, even if they get it in March, they're going to be eligible for the entire stipend amount, not just like a prorated amount. They would be given the entire amount.
So I know that earlier also we heard from Mr. Bettis advocating for his band directors and our color guard, and I don't know if we'd like to you review that. We didn't look at that closely.
So the band director one was raised by $2,000. It was $6,000 previously. It's now $8,000.
And again, this CDL certified, we put professionals, so it's not limited to coaches.
Correct.
So if
there's any teachers out there that are CDL certified and they're interested in helping us out, they would also be eligible for that.
And then the bus drivers went from what, 26?
So yeah, so the bus drivers also went from CDL certified only bus drivers. They went from, these are not professionals, so they went from $26 an hour to $30 an hour.
And the question might have been asked in the budget workshop. Dance, junior high dance and cheer in high school and junior high cheer. Why are the amounts different? What was the reasoning behind that? I'm just curious.
Honestly,
It's
junior high is just a lesser amount throughout all the extracurriculars. They were raised, but not significantly.
That's like big difference. From what did you say? I'm just looking at junior high cheer and dance. Their stipend compared to high schools. And we might have discussed it, but
It was because we went line item by line item.
I just wanted to see the reasoning, if you all had reasoning behind it. No? You?
I don't remember, but I know we did go line by line for sure.
Do you know the reason?
Junior high, high school.
Mm-hmm.
And also does cheer throughout the entire year.
High school?
Yes, high school cheer. I don't know about dance, high school dance, but they do go out of state for competition.
So we're gonna base the reasoning behind that junior high does cheer all year long.
High school.
If I can say junior high does do cheer all year long. They do cheer basketball, they help with the community.
That's cheer.
I think it was just because it was split on, and I think high school could be and then UIL, like a UIL competitive.
I just think it's a big significant difference, but.
We can look
maybe
at it,
I missed that in the
we
workshop.
can look at it, yeah, we can look at it next year.
Okay.
We can't make an adjustment.
You can if you want, but we did go through every line item for sure. You can suggest, sure, you can make a suggestion. It's not
And
it's
just
not
know
final
that
until we
that will
approve it.
increase the overall stipend amount, right? Because last year we were at 605,000, and this year we're already at 647,000. So that'll increase it.
I was looking for justification, that's all. I don't know if anybody else is.
I remember that high school dance was more just because she knew more, there was an assistant.
Yeah, high school doesn't have an assistant for dance.
Have an assistant, that's why hers was a little higher. Because
She does it all by herself.
Or not dance.
That's true. All right, Matt.
All right, if there's no further questions on this, can I get a motion?
I so move, sir.
Have a motion made by Marco Reyes.
I'll second.
Have a second by Lionel Gondara. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 9C, discuss and consider approval of purchase of additional frontline platforms.
Mr. President, we currently use several different systems for recruiting, hiring, for time clock management, and the result is extra responsibilities, duties, and a lot of time, especially on our payroll folks. And this, in looking at this system, the Human Resources and the Business Department would like to propose that we go with something that will provide some much needed efficiencies for those small departments. And Ms. Deleon has a presentation.
Management, we have Frontline for absences and substitutes, and we also have Power Schools for onboarding, offboarding, as well as hiring, right? And so we're looking to have a one-stop, everything centralized deal. So with Frontline, we already, like I said, we already have it for substituting and absence management. And so when an employee is absent, they have to enter it into ASAP, and so it populates, and then that's how the substitutes get notification. Well, if we were to go with Frontline Central and time management and all of that, it actually communicates all together with a sender. And so with this platform, we're able to do the onboarding, the offboarding, all of that all in one. And so with the time management currently with Time Clock, we literally are still in the 1980s where we have to print out every week timesheets, time reports, and have to go line item by line item by individual employees, and the principals can verify that, right? And so they have to look at to see, especially the hourly folks, did they meet their hours? Did they not meet their hours? And so it's very time consuming, and it's pages and pages of employees. This is gonna consolidate it all into one sheet. It's super easy to see. We saw a demo, and so what it does is it actually puts a triangle as like a warning. So it'll show them like, oh, these people are over, or these people are under their time. And so if anybody is over, the principal, all they would have to do, or administrator, whoever is in charge of those individuals, would have to go and say, yes, it was administrator approved, or whatever the case was. And so it would automatically send all that information into payroll. And so it's not also with the payroll, right? So payroll right now, they currently take days, sometimes up to 2 weeks to get all the payroll processes in place. Sometimes it's not, we don't get to post it until like the day before payday, because it takes that long to verify, to ensure that everybody across the board, right? Because again, we're doing a paper trail. It minimizes all of that. According to the rep, it would take a maximum of 1 hour to verify all of that information. So significantly improving time. So not only does it do onboarding and offboarding, it also, in the middle of it, right, it also helps with everything else. So contracts right now, again, we have to print out contracts. We do paper trails, letters of reasonable assurance. We can have all of that online, and they're able to digitally sign it themselves. We don't have to have paper trail to do that. We can also push out the employee handbook so that we ensure that they did sign off on that. Right now, we have to wait for the principals to get all those signatures, and then they have to send all those papers back. Then we have to verify that every single employee did turn it in. Then we have to file it. That keeps them all centralized into one employee folder location. It also helps with tracking their credentials. So right now, I do it all by myself, but I check everybody's credentials throughout the entire district. And so I have to, highlight their social, plug it into Teal, and every person in the district, I will email them if their certificate's about to expire, so that I can also remind them. Yes, Teal does it, but sometimes they miss it, and so I also do that. This, once it's inputted, it automatically will let them know, hey, your thing's about to expire, your certification's about to expire, and it also lets the administrators know, and we're all able to see it at the one time. Now with the offboarding, it also helps with that. So if someone decides to leave Pearsall ISD for retirement or whatever the case is, they're able to go onto their own little platform, and they're able to select, okay, I want to resign. They're able to put their information there. We can do the exit process all together in one, instead of having to wait for an email or whatever the case is. It's all here. It's all together in their folder. Again, right now, with Time Clock, this would be replacing Time Clock Plus, and it would also be replacing Power Schools, like I said, because Power Schools, That's what we use for onboarding and offboarding. This would have the same, basically the same format, so it would still go through the channels. When they do clock in, let's say they have multiple jobs, it's going to pull the information from Ascender, and it's going to pull their account code. So if this person is a bus driver and this is where they get paid from, it's going to populate it for us. We're not going to have to do that. Right now with time clock, what we have to do is if they're doing an extra duty, we have to like filter through to see how many hours did they do in this job, how many hours did they do on this job. This filters it all for us already. We don't have to push multiple buttons to get to that one, get that information. And overall, it's going to cost us $42,000. Yes, that's with a one-time fee of the onboarding, the one-time setup. However, with that one-time setup, it does come with also training for all of us that need it. It would also include all of it, so Frontline Central, recruiting and hiring, and time and attendance, as well as continuing our ASAP with the substitutes and absence management.
How much is,
Go ahead.
Time Clock Plus right now?
So right now, Time Clock Plus, I believe it's about
$19,000.
There you go. And they, Time Clock Plus actually charges us per individual person.
Yeah.
This is just, they gave us a quote for about 350 people, and he said, or the representative said, the price does not go up from 350 people. So once they charge us that, that's it. We're never gonna, even if we go to 400 employees, they're not gonna charge us any more than that. So with Time Clock Plus, we have lots of individuals that are on there that are no longer employed with us. Sometimes they do come back, sometimes they don't. But we're still getting charged because they're still on our platform. So.
How much is Talent Ed right now? Do you know that one?
Talent Ed right now is about $16,000.
Oh.
And that's just onboarding, offboarding. It's not everything.
Lisa, do you have anything to share? Because you work with payroll, you work with...
Well, I can definitely say it would be invaluable for not
Can you
only
use the microphone? I'm sorry.
for not only the payroll department to be able to use, but again,
I don't.
yeah, she does that. Because this platform would cover so many different aspects of our daily duties, it would be a total benefit for multiple departments, not only the payroll, HR, but also I get double that. So I will get the recruiting and hiring through Talent Ed comes to me. The purchase orders can go through there. So I mean, it seems like it's
Would that eliminate some of the steps, the processes that y'all go through? Like
It would
other people
eliminate-
in that trail of...
It would eliminate a lot of errors for sure, because it catches everything. And so,
a lot of manual steps.
yes, yes,
Especially
lots of
at
manual
the payroll level that they have to do to ensure work being online. And again, like she said, through no fault of their own, but the actual task that it requires using these multiple platforms to verify and ensure that all the information is correct. It's a timely process, and we have to get it to the bank, our file to the bank, the day before, and sometimes it's minutes we're barely making it. And again, this will help streamline it. It appears to streamline across multiple duties and tasks that we need to do every single day.
Next door, Divine actually uses it, and they've said marvelous things about it. They said it's really helped cut down their time, especially with the payroll department.
Perfect. Yeah, the two costs just for Time Clock and Talent Ed is $35,000, so a difference of roughly $7,000. The time you save and everything,
And then
it
again,
pays for
this is
itself.
with a one-time onboarding
And the
fee,
accuracy.
so-
Oh yeah, so then it's less.
What's the accuracy is?
Overall, it's less money as well. So I'm all for it.
Cut down on overtime as well because it takes the staff longer to do processes and this one quicker.
Yes, for
See
sure.
that upside as well.
So I do want to ask, so when you said when they clock in, clock out, who are they? Is that
Everybody.
Is that everyone?
Everybody this year, everybody, professionals, regardless of what your job is, even Dr. Spoor clocks in. Everybody clocks in. And so this would help them. We could also do it on, they can clock in on their phone, but we can also still put up those parameters to where they have to clock in within the Wi-Fi of the district. So we still have that option to do that.
So that's good to know that everybody's clocking in.
Yes.
I was not aware of that.
Yes.
The other thing is, so if I work for Pearsall ISD and I'm also a CDL driver, it would automatically say, okay, you're off your regular duty, now you're doing this duty.
Not automatically. So you would have to clock in into that other code.
Right, into the other code.
Right. But if, let's say, you forget, it's going to populate like, hey, wait a minute, she's supposed to be working this amount of hours. What happened here? And it's going to have that little triangle like warning, there's something wrong here. So it's going to tell you right away.
So it would advise them that they're just under the wrong job code.
Lots of
Right.
checks and balances.
And the nice thing is, then that would immediately let payroll, it would do it automatically. Payroll wouldn't have to do that manual of, I did part this, part that. And we currently have bus drivers doing 2 different coded jobs. And for example, this week, just trying to get the last payroll, which is Friday, before the budget year ends, and you get all that information in, they've been here, I don't need to know how many hours. They've been in here till about this time every night. And so just to be able to take that off of their plate and be accurate is huge.
And it's less money.
Yes.
And it's, I know personally it's very efficient because I use it.
Perfect.
Good to hear.
Does anyone have any other questions? And if not, can I get a motion?
I move that the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of additional frontline platforms as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Adrian Ramirez, a second by Lionel Gondeta. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 9D, discuss and consider approval of recapture. Ms. Fernandez.
The superintendent and I would like to recommend to the Board of Trustees to approve the 25-26 Chapter 49 agreement for the purchase of attendance credits and delegate contractual authority to the superintendent. We were notified that our local values revenue exceeds our entitlement, and therefore we have several options in order to reduce that level. And one option is to purchase attendance credits, which is what we are recommending at this time.
Have we done this in the past?
Yes,
We have, right?
Not every year, but yes, we have. And we won't know the final amount until certified property values and all that comes out from the comptroller. It'll be later in the year.
Awesome. Anyone have any questions? And if not, can I get a motion?
I so move, sir.
Have a motion by Marco Reyes. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mari Benavides. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 9E, consider approval of investment policy and resolution.
I'm recommending that the district's investment policies are approved as presented. We presented them for your review. This is an annual requirement, and that's what I'm going to. And there's a resolution that has to accompany that approval. No changes were made.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions? And if none, can I get a motion?
I move that the Board of Trustees approve the district investment policies and resolution as presented.
I have a motion by Lionel Gondeta. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dora Mata Rodriguez. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 9F, consider and approve the end-of-year budget amendment.
I'm recommending approval of the end-of-year budget amendment as presented. It was the second and third half of the budget spreadsheet, the full budget spreadsheet. And what we did was just clean up some of our codes. We didn't ask for any additional money. We were just moving it to where it's needed to finish out the school year.
Does anyone have any questions? Nope. If no one has any questions, can I get a motion?
I so move, sir.
Have a motion by Marco Reyes. Can I have a second? Second, Diana Hughes. All in favor? Were y'all yeses? Motion passes unanimously.
I better. Make the motion.
Moving on to item 9G, consider and approve adoption of the 25-26 district budget.
At this time, I'm also recommending the approval of the 25-26 proposed balanced budget as presented. And I wanted to remind the board that the operating budget is balanced with the exceptions of the one-time expenses.
So budget's balanced, and then we have designated items to be purchased. Correct.
Yes.
Just so the public knows, right? Okay. Does anyone have any questions? If no one has any questions, can I get a motion on this item?
Make a motion to approve the adoption of the 25-26 district budget as presented.
Have a motion by Lionel Gondeta. Can I get a second? Have a second by Mari Benavides. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be moving on to item 8, closed meeting. The board will adjourn to a closed meeting in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.074 to consider the following. Discussion regarding, I think that's wrong. Discuss and consider the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear complaints or charges against a public officer. The time is now 9:38, and the board will now go into closed session.